the recruitment thing is obviously not working at Celtic. How do you fix it? If you're the troubleshooter coming to Celtic, how do you fix the recruitment model at Celtic that's gone awry?
Well, they've had the doctor in there and Paul Tisdale, so I'll be the troubleshooter. I think you need to bring a legitimacy to the person that's signing the players. We've seen it in the past. These new age kind of sporting director, Celtic never used that model.
So you think a director of football, director of sport?
Well, I would. Dundee United fans won't like me for this, but I think Jim Goodwin is a type of manager who's excelled at recruitment. Is very well liked.
So you want him Celtic manager?
No, not Celtic manager.
Right.
I would get him signing players in a very important role, a new role in terms of Celtic haven't operated like other clubs, but I think you can find a role in the club for a sporting director. Now, to me, Jim Goodwin has been the best in Scotland at finding players. Miofsky at Aberdeen, the summer this Dundee United, Dolchek's the latest, but there's been multiple players that have excelled. He seems to have a great eye, and Celtic aren't. There's something missing here. I think there's a real role for someone in Scottish football to reimagine how Celtic do business. The manager is far from being immaterial, but there needs to be a new structure, and I don't think Celtic are going to go completely away. I think they go for someone who's got a basis in Scottish football, who's proven adept at finding players in Europe. And I think, listen, managers, jobs don't last forever. I think Goodwin's doing an exceptional job at Dundee United, and I think it's based on his really good eye for a player.
Right.
I think it's
so you think Jim Goodwin is director of football at Celtic?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more I stand by it. I think I think he's got a real ability to do well, and I think that's the role that he's truly made for in football.
No, that's interesting. I mean, I think Jim Goodwin is a potential future Celtic manager.
Okay.
To be honest, I think he's still young in the dugout, and I think he would maybe think that as well. I do think Celtic need to have a slightly more a full modernisation of their recruitment. I think that, listen, Celtic recruitment has been fantastic for 15 years. I mean, sold a lot of players with a lot of money. It's gone a bit wonky of late. But they're now finding that teams like Celtic spent less than the top 8 teams in the Championship in England this summer. They're now teams in that level have got intensive scouting departments. I mentioned it before that teams like Brighton signed a boy in the summer who had been watching since the guy was doing keepy updates in the playground. Celtic need to be ahead of the game in terms of analytics. And you look at Hearts with Tony Bloom and his setup. Brentford are another one. These kind of teams. Celtic are in a market. They're up against tough Champions League level teams in terms of recruitment. They need to be a bit more smarter to get ahead of the game. That's difficult because these teams now are pouring huge resources into finding players at 11, 12, 13, never mind 21, 22. Yep. So I think they do need to have a kind of a slightly more modernising look at recruitment. Paul Tisdale, question marks. I don't know what changes have been done. We need to find that out. But yeah, I think something has gone a wee bit off the rails at Celtic in the last kind of 4 or 5 windows in terms of recruitment, and it does need to be looked at. But somebody who paid far more than us to look at it, no doubt.